in amongst what looks to be just 3 bulls, buffalo bulls that we've seen now. And this calf is abnormally young to be hanging out with the older men, so possibly it got separated from its herd. It's hard to tell, but we're not at all far from the lions, and I think I can actually hear Marc's vehicle that's just started up. So potentially good prospects that these lions may get wind of the buffalo and pursue them. I'm not entirely sure exactly where the lions were, but their tracks actually did head down this very road towards where Marc was viewing them. The oxpeckers are having a great time. You can hear them chattering away there, flying from buffalo to buffalo. There appear to be a few bulls coming out into the open towards us, so we should have some great shots if we just be patient for a moment or two. That's the young calf, and I remember before I left a few weeks ago, there was, oh, Brian spotted a starling there. And there was, as I was saying a few weeks ago, a young calf that was also hanging around with some older bulls, so it could very well be the same one. And obviously the calf is no longer dependent on milk, so as long as it has the safety and security of these bulls, it will continue existing with no problems. They really do know how to display their thoughts of us from time to time, shaking their heads and delivering some quite mean death stares when they desire. Oh, that's why the oxpeckers are so excited. This individual that Brian's going to pan across to now, it's got a big wound on its shoulder. It's just out of view from this angle. It's just on the kind of right-hand side of its spine. And that's what the oxpeckers are so excited about, because an open wound allows them to feed directly on blood without having to acquire it via an ectoparasite. So as much as they do, I'm going to try and reverse quickly, as much as they do help the buffalo in keeping ticks off them, they do keep it open. Pull this off. Oh, you can see that big tree there, so luckily we didn't crash into it. But what is interesting now that we're very close is that there's some young oxpeckers on there. They just flew off. I've given Brian a tricky angle here, so he's just had to realign the camera quickly. As that buffalo walks away, oh, look at that turn of pace. That really was something to see. And I think it's because they got the scent of the lions that walked down this road earlier, and that is what caused them to run off in such haste. As I said, we did see the tracks of the lion heading up this road towards where Marc found them this morning. And I think just that incredibly strong sense of smell that a lot of the animals have out here alerted them to the fact that lion are there. But it sounds like Marc is ready to see what's going on with Marc. So over to Marc and we'll catch up with you a little bit later.
Just as I was saying just a few minutes ago, that it can go from fast asleep to very alert and very active, and they've seen something, so there's definitely something going on. don't know what they've seen, but they've heard something or seen something, and suddenly from sleepy, dozy lions, we've got some very hungry cats eagerly looking out for something that might be moving in the bush, somewhere just southwest of us. And here we have it, an entire pride on our bumper. I don't know how to take a picture of this. Hello girls and boys, mostly girls. Now you can see the ears nicely, especially the backs of the ears. You can see different markings, different nicks and tears. I can also hear, sounds like a bird alarming.
Welcome back. I'm just going to get a quick update from Marc as to where exactly he is. Marc, where exactly on Philemon's cut line are you?
And so Scotty is coming this way. Scotty, just check if there's anything on your right as you come down here. They've been looking at something up that way. Okay, Scott's saying they might have heard the buffalo running through the bush. But those buffalo that we heard about just west of us must have maybe picked up their scent or picked up something about them. So they, well, stretch and lie down again. False alarm, I guess. Okay, copy. Now maybe it was they heard the buff. So much for sunshine coming out. It's actually getting darker again. Heavier cloud moving over. I suppose that's just the way the weather is going to be at the moment. It's going to be waves of cloud and rain. As long as it stays away, the rain, for another hour or so. Yeah, Oh, now they're getting interested in Scotty moving around. Scott's approaching. We're going to have two vehicles here. What was interesting, Cedric was saying that he'd been tracking two of the Styx lionesses with the two Matemba males. And then those tracks seem to have he seemed to have lost those tracks, and then I found these cats. But I found these cats by following the same tracks he was on. But there were tracks up there on Gowrie Main of males. So it is a bit confusing. Unless, what's that, Impala?
Yep.
Impala way behind us, probably looking at these cats already. Hasn't alarmed or anything yet. Big Impala ram. I don't think the cats will be much interested in that, especially because he's already seeing them. He's got to be well over 100 yards away. To your face, girl. So, back to flat cats, almost. There.
It's okay.
But the other thing, the bagworm, just above this lion's head, but of course a lot closer to us. A very interesting thing in this acacia next to me. I can't go forward much, but that white thing that you can see, I'll try and get a better picture of it shortly. But interestingly, this is the caterpillar, known as the bagworm caterpillar, who has cut a number of these white acacia thorns and sewn them together to form like a tube, and the caterpillar lives inside that tube. Interestingly enough, it is the larva of a moth, and the male becomes a moth after he's finished chewing on leaves and things. He flies around, tries to find a female. The female, on the other hand, doesn't become a moth. She stays within the tube, that protective tube. She lays eggs and dies, and then that bag, as it were, becomes protection for the eggs until the young caterpillars hatch. Your young caterpillars, being very, very small, will probably use bits of grass. Sometimes you get bagworms that just use little grains of sand, and they sew them all together. But as adult, they'll sew the thorns for the species at any rate. There's some thorn trees that I've seen that have infestations of bagworms, that you have these little bags of acacia thorns that have been sewn together hanging off of the trees like Christmas decorations. Nature's really wonderful. All sorts of interesting little tidbits here and there when we finally.
And apologies for the break in signal from Marc. I think he'll just need to reposition. He seems to be in a bit of a funny spot there with regards to broadcasting signals, so I'm sure he'll just reposition, and Alex will let me know as soon as I've got a good feed from him. Myself and Brian have just decided to head into an area that we haven't explored yet this morning in the hope that we find something interesting. Somebody has driven down this road already this morning, which doesn't bother me because you could drive up and down the same road for the whole 3-hour game drive and see different things on every journey backwards and forwards. So it's not a concern, just thought that I would let you know that another vehicle has driven down here a little bit earlier. Myself and Brian are longing to see a leopard, so we would ideally simply drive around a corner and find a leopard sleeping in a tree. Brian went so far as to say that he would like the leopard to have a diker kill, not any killer, specifically a diker kill. I'm not sure why Brian had it in for the diker this morning, but either way, that's what Brian wants to see. But even if we don't come across a leopard up a tree with a diker kill, it would be so useful to just find some tracks of a leopard. That way we would know that there's a leopard moving in any certain area. And anyway, enough about me talking about leopard tracks, some signal. So back to Marc, we'll catch up with you a little bit later.
How do you count? So, a little bit of excitement over now. Going back to lie down. I don't know what happened to Scott. He was here a minute ago. We wait again. You know, this is something you can do all day. Sitting with Lion.